So yeah, it's not long since I've done one of these kind of questiony things. This isn't really a tag, it's actually from Jackie, one of my viewers, if you like, who just put some questions in my comments, and I think they were great questions, and the sort of questions that I kind of like to answer. Maybe I'll do it as a tag. I'll kind of, I don't know, I'll put it in the end if I decide, or in the comments if it's worth being a tag, because yeah, we don't want too many of these about, do we? So I mean, that's the gist. We'll just get onto it. So the first question is, what's the first perfume you ever bought? With my own money, obviously, back in the day. It was actually Boss Soul, Hugo Boss Soul, which is discontinued now. And I've told the story so many times of kind of walking around Boots with, at the time, my girlfriend, buying her crap, and the sales assistant sprayed this on me, and I was like, oh god, don't do that. All I'd basically worn to that point was Dupont, and I liked it, so why not anyway? So I kept walking around, I kept getting the whiffs of it, and by the time we'd left, and my wallet was much lighter, I kind of was like, oh, this is really, really nice. And she liked it, so I went straight in and bought it. It's kind of its time. It's a little La Nuit de l'Homme. Well, I think this might have come before. It's kind of got that citrus sparkly top, the cardamom, the kind of obviously a kind of nice woody feel in there, spicy florals and that. It's just a really nice fragrance. It's kind of dark, what we'd have called back then probably a nighttime kind of fragrance, and it really suited me, and I really liked it. So that was the first one I bought with my own money. The last full bottle I bought, like 30ml, whatever, I bought 2 at once, but technically I suppose it would be the second one I bought was Peony, or Peony, however you like to say it, Pageant from One Way Bridge. And now this one was kind of reduced because it was one she made specially for a store, and that store closed down, so just selling off the stock basically. It's not going to be one for everyone, this. It's kind of a powdery pink peony and rose. It's got a similar kind of rosy feel to a Rose for a Miss, but it's kind of enveloped in the powderiness and the muskiness. I'm sure there's a lot more going in on it, but it is this kind of pink, flowery, powdery, musky one, and that's just really easy to wear and really pleasant. And unlike most peony fragrances, it's not shampooey, which generally I found in practically every one I've ever tried, it just smells like shampoo. This is not like this, and it's probably why I'm quite so fond of it. It's just an easy wear. It's like just a chill in the house one, or when you just wanted to smell something easy and pleasant. It's very nice. So for that, the last bottle I bought, over 30ml, was Peony's Pageant from One Way Bridge. And I love the second part of this question, have you worn it? Because that's so true, isn't it? This is a big question, isn't it? Yes, I have worn it, but I'll admit only maybe 3 times, maybe 4. It's not been one I've worn a lot, because again, we have a lot of perfume and we tend to consume too much, don't we? So yes, I have worn that, but admittedly not a lot. But I did only get it a month ago, something like that. So yeah. So this is a good one. We'll put them all together. Which perfume, which brand, and which material do you wish you'd tried earlier? Oh, should we start with the material, the note or whatever? Thinking back to to being youthful and stuff, and kind of what I know is my style and stuff nowadays, is maybe to have wore more florals. Now I'm saying that, and they were all quite floral, but they weren't overtly floral. And maybe I had a bit of that nonsense, that marketing nonsense in my head when I was a youth. That might be a little bit girly. Well, what does that even mean? It doesn't mean anything, does it? So maybe perhaps I wish I'd pushed myself into more floral fragrances, which I obviously really liked and love now, if you see my entire collection. And yeah, I mean, I did tend to buy, I bought for the brand back then, as you do when you're youthful, and yeah, some pretty poor ones. Which brand I wish I'd tried earlier? Honestly, Amouage. I wish when I first got into this, that was the kind of brand I'd push myself into, because their older ones are magnificent. They're so good. They're so complex, so interesting, so unique, so different. And I always say this, they're not easy for starters, but I did push myself into trying some really kind of crazy Indian stuff back then. So I'd already pushed myself, challenged myself that far. So maybe, yeah, Amouage. Then I would have tried so many more of them. And back then, they were really good. They kind of had a lot of pomp about them. It was before being reformulated to death. It was before the director changed. And so many good ones have been discontinued. And some I've not even tried, which I'll probably never try because they're long gone. So yeah, I wish it had been Amouage. And which perfume do I wish I'd tried a long time ago? That's an interesting question. I'm walking and thinking because I haven't planned this. Which perfume do I wish I'd tried a long time ago? Probably, actually, and I know I was saying it, it's along that same path of being more bold with what I tried. Maybe Coco Mademoiselle. Because, again, it was brilliant, wasn't it? I've obviously liked the smell of that on people. So why didn't I just wear it? It's strange, isn't it? And it's a very bold, gorgeous fragrance. I don't, you know, even in these strange people's minds, I don't think it leans the traditional one way or another, whatever even that means. So yeah, Coco Mademoiselle. Perfume of Shame. I suppose that's obviously one I own. I'm going to say Fragrance One's Office for Men. Not that I'm not shamed by it. The first thing I'll always have to start this off with, it ain't worth the price, not by a million miles. And it's a merging of all that's popular, Sauvage, a bit Bleu de Chanel, a bit of obviously Aventus about it. But it is all these things merged together, and it's pleasant. It's the most generic thing in the history of the world ever. Don't wear it a lot, again, I'm not going to lie, but it is particularly likeable. Now again, if it was 50 quid, you couldn't complain. It's what it's, you know, today's value is what it's worth, really. And I think even he said that. But the reason it's a kind of perfume of shame is sometimes you can't really separate the person behind the fragrance from the fragrance, can you? And yeah, he's a character. We'll leave it at that. But the perfume itself, yeah, it's all right. Name 3 fragrances I've tried on skin, not on paper or anything, that I'd like to own full bottles of. It's a really tricky one because I sample a lot, don't I? But 3 that come to my head first. First up, I'll say it's kind of predictable. I've never owned a bottle of it, and I would like to. Well, let's just say I've got a bottle of it, but it's not what it is. And that's Chanel No. 5. The EDP. Obviously it's not just on me. I've tried this, I've sniffed this so many times in life. Why don't I have a bottle is basically the bottom line. It's magnificent, isn't it? It's a gorgeous fragrance. It's It's, well, we know what it is. It's the aldehydes, it's that ylang ylang, it's that kind of naughty feel. It's kind of soapy, bubbly, vintage, a little bit of this kind of a bit of powderiness in there. It's just magnificent. I don't need to talk a lot about this because we all know what it is. So that's one. Why the heck don't I own a bottle? Second is Amouage Myths Woman. Kinda, it's beautiful flowers. Again, lily's not listed in this one, but I do get lilies, chrysanthemum, a little bit of, and it's just this kind of green, rotting, watery vase flowers. There's a lot more going on it than that, but it's just, oh, it smells so good. And it's Amouage style. It's very wearable. There's a little bit of kind of an indolic nature about it. It's very floral. It's got the touches you'd expect, you know, a little bit of incense, etc., and a kind of little bit of an animalic growl in there. It does start off quite pretty, but as it develops, it's magnificent. So that's Amouage Myths Woman. And the third one is Blackstrap Betty from One Way Bridge. This is molasses and coffee. I'm not going to go, I feel like I've mentioned this very recently, so I'm not going to go too much into detail, but we know what molasses, that kind of thick treacly thing with the coffee hints and the kind of lovely muskiness and spiciness in there. It's a very black fragrance, and it's just very, very appealing and very nice, and kind of, it's like a sexy gourmand, non-gourmand. It's magnificent, and I don't think I own a kind of coffee one, or if you like sweeter, although it's not that sweet, dark one as dark as that. So yeah, that's Blackstrap Betty from One Way Bridge. My favourite synthetic or molecular note. Now there's three here. Obviously I love synthetic, civet and castoreum, but I think obviously my favourite will be the molecules and the accords. I think it's got something to do with hedone or hedione or whatever that make violet. And obviously it smells like violet. Maybe there's some natural violet in there. I don't know enough about all of this. But that's obviously clearly one of my favourite, given a lot of my fragrances have that, if you like, lipsticky or violet, very violet-y feel in them. I love the powderiness. I also love the kind of darker richness of it. I love that kind of vibe, that kind of smell. Somehow comforting as well, isn't it? Well, that's the thing with violet, isn't it? It can be comforting, it can be very seductive, it can be very kind of dark. It's just a magnificent note. It can even be quite cool and crisp and melancholic, and given all them sorts of fragrances are what I go for, I think it's lovely. My favourite natural ingredient, again, what do I know what's natural and what's not? I'm gonna say ambrette, ambrette seed, because this is, it has that kind of almost naughty animalic feel about it. It can smell in many different ways, but the way the musk works, it really is, it's like catnip. It makes me want to take my clothes off and just sniff it and roll about in it like a crazy cat. It just has such a strong effect on me, and I would imagine I've smelt both a kind of synthetic ambrette and a natural ambrette, but it just has that magic effect on it, doesn't it? The way it kind of tickles your nose and goes down your spine and that, it's magnificent. And I tend to find, even with fragrances I'm not madly keen on, it has an effect where I want to keep smelling that fragrance. It really keeps me kind of hooked. So I'd say that must be one of my favourite natural ingredients, that's ambrette. What fragrance changed your stubbornly held opinion on something? Now, I think every single one of us has this same story, this same note that we are determined we just don't like. We will never like it. It's terrible. It's old-fashioned, or it's sharp, or it's just not something we'd wear. It never suit us. It's rose, and I think we all have this. And I think the fragrance that hugely changed that for me, I can't think of a rose fragrance I had before that, is Tom Ford's Noir de Noir, which also changed, well, it slightly leaves my opinion open, although I'm pretty damn sure it's been reformulated now, that Tom Ford fragrances aren't worth the price. Although back then the price was a heck of a lot less, and I got my bottle at a very bargain price. But Noir de Noir, the rose in it is so dark, but at the same time it has a sweet sumptuousness about it. It gets you. It is very much a rose fragrance. There's all the other stuff going on, the chocolatey patchouli, that kind of red wininess kind of mixing with the rose, the truffles, you know, that kind of weird part about it, the little hint of oud. But the rose in it is the main thing, isn't it? That gothic rose, that dark, seductive, a little bit jammy rose that just, you know, you want to take the rose to bed. It's so fantastic. And I think this is important to say, that we all have ideas in our head and stuff. And I certainly did with rose. It took me a while. But yeah, Noir de Noir is the one that just blasted all that away. I don't have that many rose fragrances, rose dominant ones, but I do have some now, and I can appreciate it. What you'll find is, especially if you're one of these people just starting out now, is you will find the rose for you. It's obviously it's a massively common note, it's used a lot, it's everywhere, and you have this kind of, I will not go near it. You'll find the rose for you. Even if you haven't found it yet, you will, and you'll go, oh, I really quite like rose in fragrance. This specific one maybe. I don't like all roses. Some of them I cannot wear and don't enjoy at all. So yeah, Noir de Noir from Tom Ford was one that changed a stubborn opinion. My opinion on longevity and projection, and which I prefer. Well, which I prefer is longevity. I'll give you that. I don't wear fragrances for anyone else but myself, and that's the truth of it. You know, I've got, like I said before, I've got the odd fragrance where people be able to smell me from 50 miles away. But again, I don't really wear it because I don't want to please people, if you get what I mean. Plus, it's obnoxious, isn't it, really? What if people don't want to smell your perfume? Just be sensible. So projection, as long as I can smell it, don't care. Longevity is a tricky one, because some of the best things in life last for a few seconds, don't they? Let's face it. And if it brings me pleasure for, you know, maybe 4 or 5 hours, that's fine. So some of my fragrances are quite like that, actually. I have a few kind of softer ones, and it means you can wear another one a day. However, I do think there is an element of taking the mick with that. I think if you're buying from one of these so-called luxury brands that pride themselves on their fragrances lasting, and it's all people ever kind of talk about, come on now. Yeah, I'm a bit... If it's gone after half an hour and I can't smell it, then that's concerning and annoying, and there are a few like that. But again, the thing about these things, the longevity, the projection, you never really know unless people are complaining about it. And the longevity, you can go nose blind, so it's all a very subjective thing. Just because you stop smelling something doesn't mean everybody else has. I'm trying to think of one that follows you a lot. Moonlight in Heaven's a good one with this. You think it's disappeared, it hasn't, and you get whiffs all day. So, but this is an older formulation, and I know from someone who's tried my version and their version, it ain't the same anymore, folks, because Estee Lauder. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of either, but I'd take longevity over protection every time. Now, this question's easier for me than you'd think it will be. Name 3 perfumers without looking them up, and name some of their fragrances. Easy for me. Obviously, Lizziebet, because of all my Killian ones, and she's like the big name out of these. She's also, as well as the Killians, such as Love Don't Be Shy, Love and Tears, Imperial Tea, and loves like that from me. She's also done things like What About Adam, I believe. She might have done What About Eve, the dupe fragrances back in the old days. And obviously she's done quite a lot here and there for everyone. So Lizziebet is a perfumer I am quite, what's the word, aware of and familiar with. Second is Elise Wolverine, who is the perfumer and owner of One Way Bridge. So it's kind of cheating a little bit, but she's a perfumer. She should be a lot more famous than she is. She creates fragrances such as, say, Pitching Woo, Date with a Dame, Top Shelf, that kind of represent, because of the muskiness and the way she works with them, you can see she creates a person, a personality, a humanity to them. And that's a really kind of rare gift, isn't it? You can always imagine someone and what they're like, and their personality maybe, and what they like in life, and things like that. And that is a talent. And the third one is Tanya Bushnik, or Burshnik, can't say her name, from April Aromatics. And again, a big fan. I know it's kind of cheating because obviously it's their own brand. But oh, there's so many. The ones I love: Lotus Rising, Purple Rain, Erdenstin, Wild Summer Crush, Jasmina. Tanya is quite similar to Elise in that it's not people, it's a place and a time, and you are transported to that place. Say Lotus Rising, you're by this stream, this muddy stream in wherever lotus grow, you know, Thailand or China, and the lotus is coming up, and you can smell that sweet smell of the lotus in the air. You can smell all the green round it, you can smell the damp earth, the stream, and that again is a real talent. You go to these places she's been, these places she's created with her, and smell all the things that she smelt. So that's my 3 perfumers. Yeah, a little bit cheatery because 2 of them are also brand owners, so easy to remember. Next is a perfume to uplift you, make you feel good on a bad day. Do you know, genuinely, it's cliched or whatever, Reflection is definitely that fragrance from Mas Milano. It's so bright, it's so radiant. It's mimosa, I think I always say osmanthus, I'm sure there's an osmanthusy feel in there, aldehydes, musks. It's just this crazy bright fragrance, and you can't help but smile. And I'm sure other people, when they smell it on you, because it smells so yellow and so bright, that it does put a smile on your face, and it does cheer you up. There could be many of them that help me really. But I tend not to want to wear fragrances when I'm very sad, because then they'll be associated with what I'm sad about. The world is a dark place at the moment, and life is a never-ending disappointment, and you know, so yeah, I think Reflection, I don't associate it with anything. I'll never will. It's, you know, it's not that. It is very unique, but at the same time, it's not one of them that you're going to smell and go, wow, what is that? It's just bright yellow smiles and sunshine. So it will be. And I want to add one that was in the other one, but it was talking about micro influences and stuff, and what influences you, what people keep you going. Now, I'm never going to get every name. It's people like Jackie, Jim, if you're watching this, that PG person, Catherine, and there's loads more over on Instagram, Russell, people like this, who don't really make a lot of content. They're not as such content creators, whatever the hell that is, those passionate people who kind of enjoy watching us and supporting us. And do you know what? I don't like YouTube for the fact the people I mention are genuinely my friends. They're genuinely people I've had conversations with and stuff, and it is helping promote their channel. Although my YouTube don't work like that, does it really? But do you know what I mean? Like Lizzie or something. There might be one person who's not subscribed to Lizzie who's going to go check her out, or Claire's very unlikely, or Smurfy, you know, or Nicola the Sniff. There might be somebody who go check them out that aren't. Chances are they're all following them and not me. But do you know what I mean? It's them people who have no ulterior motive, who just enjoy it, just the passion. When I started, that was me, and then Steve, Frags to Riches, every man kind of pushed me on to having an Instagram thing, because yeah, he's probably sick of the long comments and stuff, but the passion was there, and these are these people, and they're what keep us going, because they've got no reason, you know, they're not watching you think, oh, he might watch my channel and I'll get a subscriber or a view. They're not watching you for that. They're watching you because, I don't want to use this word quite so strongly, they like you, they like, all right, they like your content. Or like me, I watch people that annoy me, maybe I annoy them, and they get a bit of a kind of grr feeling from that. And that's ultimately the truth, isn't it, of who our biggest supporters are. The people who've got no ulterior motive, the people who just are passionate and might enjoy what you do. Now I know there's loads of people I've not mentioned, but yeah, that's it for now. So thanks, Jackie, for this, these questions, these ideas. It's been a lot more, it's been easier, hasn't it? It's not about appealing to brands or you know, oh, I've got to answer this to get PR, or you know, or to grow my channel, or to whatever, to pat somebody else on the head, or any of that. It's just about, these questions are all like honest questions about us. Yeah, they might not be, well, some of them were good and kind of interesting and took a lot of thought, but do you know what I mean? They're not the kind of hype questions, or what a lot of these can be. They're kind of a follow me kind of thing. So the people that I tag will be people, obviously, that are my friends, that I know. I mean, the people in the comments that I mentioned, answer the questions, please. I want to know more about you. You know a lot about me and what I like and that. Tell me what you like. Do you know what? This is thanks to Jackie, but this has just clicked in my head. If there's enough comments, I'm not saying you don't have to leave me a comment. I'm not doing it for that reason. But if you want to answer these questions, or say 5 of them, or just tell me your favourite fragrance, I'll mention it in a video, because I want to. So yeah, anyway, as you can tell, I'm not feeling quite great at the moment, but thanks folks, and bye. Oh yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, you have to ask a question at the end of this. What was your first fragrance? Has your taste changed massively since that first fragrance to now? Do you still wear that first fragrance? Alright, anyway, bye.